The residents of Baltimore were shocked to know that they were not safe in their homes. The members of the gun track task force were engaging in dishonest business practices, including fraud, extortion, and robbery.
Corrupt cops who swore to protect and serve were nothing more than criminals.
Their secrets were revealed in 2017, and since then, the Baltimore story was covered by the media extensively. How did they get caught? How did they manage to save their faces all these years? The significant news that this legendary police fraud gang had been exposed stemmed from the death of Freddie Gray. Given that Freddie died unexpectedly while in police custody, the Baltimore police station was under investigation. To find out how Freddie died and what caused it, an investigation was carried out. According to the inquiry report, 6 Baltimore police officers were involved in the arrest of Freddie Gray. He was caught selling drugs when he was detained. He was dragged to the police van, where they locked the door. But the fact that they disregarded safety precautions and endangered Freddie's life is what went wrong. The policeman in the van was playing with him like he was a toy. He was treated inhumanely and subjected to terrible torture. He was prohibited from using a seatbelt, and his wrists and feet were bound. He was not permitted to have any type of basic safety equipment. His spinal cord and neck were seriously hurt. He was unable to withstand the torture and passed away a week later as a result. There was something strange about the police officers. Therefore, the Department of Justice decided to look into it further. Rod Rosenstein of the DEA decided to investigate and expose this terrible tale. These 6 officers were accused of manslaughter for having little compassion for Freddie, knowing that the police force they had blindly trusted could do something terrible, shocked the public. This top-notch police unit was comprised of Thomas Allers, Momadou Gondo, Jamel Rayam, Evodio Hendricks, Maurice Ward, Marcus Taylor, Daniel Herschel, and Wayne Jenkins. Everyone paid attention to Wayne since he was the leader. Wayne Jenkins was the worst law enforcement official there has ever been. The GTF was run by him, and he was in charge. You can refer to him as the mastermind. The Gun Track Task Force was uncovered in 2017 by a unit member who confessed to his crimes on a video that the DEA heard. Gondo was in touch with the narcotics gang. The investigators' discovery of the crucial clue that caused them to begin to question the police officers marked this moment as the pivotal one. Gondo's confessions were all recorded by the DEA. He disclosed his involvement in drug sales and use. The DA was surprised when he subsequently detailed other crimes in which he had participated. These police officers have committed a seemingly endless number of crimes. They had a good plan that they followed exactly every day without fail. The drug dealers were their major focus. They would target and torture these individuals. All the narcotics would be removed and sold again. They made more money from this than they could have as a police officer. They go looking for drug dealers to extort drugs and cash from every day. They lack any emotional attributes that a person should have, along with any sense of professional responsibility for the work they conduct as police officers. The only thing they cared about was gathering more drugs to sell. They will make a significant amount of money from this. They did not shoot other individuals with the illegal guns they carry, but instead unintentionally planted explosives on them. They could then detain anyone in possession of an unauthorized firearm. These officers were brought before the court to make confessions after being apprehended. Hearing about all the crimes these officers committed in a short amount of time startled the jury. Wayne once observed some men robbing a drugstore with the assistance of other officers. They valiantly put an end to the robbery, but they were not acting alone. They kept up the robbery and took drugs from that location. After plundering the business, they sold the drugs to additional drug dealers. Through that, they became very wealthy. A prominent drug dealer suspect's house was searched without warning after they stole his house keys. Then they went ahead and made off with $100,000 from there. They used to indiscriminately drive cars at high speeds in a crowd of people, exhibiting a cruel mentality. These policemen hunt people who flee for their life before arresting them. By carrying out such awful deeds, they feel strong and joyful. They fitted illegal tracking devices in the cars of narcotics dealers to follow them. The police officers would be able to find out where and when these drug sellers will be using this equipment. The cops from the GATF either raid their residences or steal their drugs and cash. They committed all of these acts over the last 3 years without anyone even suspecting them. They discriminated against and held a negative attitude towards black people. Throughout this brief time, they stole somewhere around $300,000. They stole 7 pounds of cocaine during these 3 years. From the narcotics sellers, they also took 43 pounds of marijuana. In addition to this, they converted the proceeds from the sale of pricey, one-of-a-kind jewels into cash. According to their respective portions, they divided up the entire sum of money and spent it all on themselves. A group of police officers could not possibly have committed such heinous atrocities while on duty. The court could not believe it. They received a sentence of 112 years. They must serve that sentence in prison. Jenkins, the chief of the GITF, received a particularly lengthy sentence because he was the perpetrator of all of these crimes. Jenkins is currently serving a sentence of 25 years in a Kentucky prison. These policemen's crimes had a significant impact on the Baltimore Police Department. Both the general public and other departments must come to trust them. Others now view them with contempt, since what this policeman did was unjustifiable. The HBO miniseries with that title is called We Own This City. The Baltimore incident served as inspiration for the producers, who turned it into a miniseries and showed it to the audience. Even among female police officers, there are nasty ones. Let's witness the account of a female police officer who was deceived by love and wealth. A female police officer named Antoinette Frank and her boyfriend Rogers Lacaze committed a terrible crime together. The horrifying murder occurred on March 4, 1995, stunning the residents of New Orleans. Together with her family, Chauveau managed her restaurant. They made a substantial fortune through their family business, Kim Ainge, to watch after their business. They had enlisted Ronald Williams as a part-time security guard. In his spare time, Ronald works there. He used to be a police officer when Frank and her boyfriend, a drug dealer, stormed into the restaurant and demanded money. Chauveau called Ronald to the dining room to give his wages. Frank began threatening Chauveau and her brother. Ronald tried to intervene to defend the siblings, but Frank's lover shot him. She panicked since Frank hadn't anticipated things to go worse. Chau and her brother hid in the walk-in fridge as Frank turned around to hunt for her companion. The older siblings, Kuang and Ha Vu, were cleaning the restaurant when the incident occurred. Frank questioned them over the money, but Chau had hidden it in the microwave. She shot the 2 older siblings as soon as Frank discovered the money. Both of them received death sentences after being tried in court. Frank was transferred to a Louisiana prison for women. Do you believe there are other officers like this in law enforcement? Do you anticipate a repeat of this incident? Let us know in the comments.
Hey, what the? Hey, stop! No!
On February 12, 2023, Officer Kyle Howe of the Toledo Police Department detained and physically assaulted a couple without any apparent justification. Officer Howe spotted a speeding vehicle on the highway and pursued it with his emergency lights activated. After pulling over the driver, Mr. Romero, Officer Howe alleged that he was driving above the legal speed limit.
Good evening.
Good
What's the
evening.
hurry tonight?
Nothing. I just picked up my girlfriend from work.
Okay. Do you know how fast you were going?
75 maybe.
Okay. I do at 77. You got your driver's license, insurance?
I do.
Despite Mr. Romero's compliance in providing his identification, Officer Howe also requested the passenger's ID, although it was not legally required.
See,
Okay. Does she have an ID?
she does.
Sorry.
She might
You
not.
use my
This is my ID.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I
You
just
just
picked her up from work.
Yeah.
Officer Howe asked Mr. Romero to step out of the vehicle, and he complied. Officer Howe noticed something fall out of the vehicle as Mr. Romero stepped out, and he proceeded to handcuff him, claiming it was drug paraphernalia. Officer Howe informed Mr. Romero that he was being detained, not arrested, and asked him about his marijuana use.
What's that, partner?
I'm not sure what happened.
Okay. I'm gonna say you turn around, put your hands behind your back for me, okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah. $45, 1 to 10. All right. Is that comfortable for you or not?
The laws surrounding marijuana use in Ohio are complex, but possessing less than 100 grams is considered a minor misdemeanor. Officer Howell then requested Mr. Romero to undergo a field sobriety test, which he willingly agreed to. However, Officer Howell then arrested Mr. Romero for driving with a barred license, indicating that his license had been previously suspended. The situation escalated when Officer Howe aggressively grabbed Mr. Romero, slammed him onto the patrol vehicle's hood, and threw him to the ground despite no signs of resistance. And then another officer arrived and unlawfully arrested the passenger, Miss Jasmine. Dash cam footage captured Officer Howe's use of excessive force and false accusations against Mr. Romero. Despite Mr. Romero's retaliation against the unjust treatment, Officer Howe continued to assault him.
Stop! Pussy! Stop!
Baby, please stop! Baby, please! Why are you following me like that?
Miss Jasmine's arrest was also unjustified as she had not engaged in any wrongdoing. Both Mr. Romero and Miss Jasmine were ultimately arrested, but it is important to note that their violations of the law did not excuse the mistreatment they endured.
Going away from me and trying to kick me into this.
Why did you hit me and slam me on the ground that many times?
Following an investigation into another incident involving Officer Howe, he resigned from the Toledo Police Department. The incident highlights concerns about the excessive use of force and the violation of individuals' rights during law enforcement encounters. In another incident, a driver who had committed no wrongdoing and violated no laws was pulled over by an officer who falsely claimed that the vehicle's tag was expired. The officer's true intentions became evident when he asked a question unrelated to the traffic stop, implying potential phone use while driving.
And another question, you just turned that on, right? Like, you didn't have that while you were driving?
No, I just turned it on. Yeah.
Okay.
Despite the driver providing the necessary documents, the officer insisted that the expired tag was the driver's responsibility and proceeded to issue a ticket.
Because it seems like a while, if the validation tag expired in December.
The driver repeatedly explained that the vehicle was a rental and that the responsibility for the tag's validity rested with the rental company.
Well, you call Enterprise. That's not my car. I don't know why you pulled me over.
However, the officer remained ignorant and refused to acknowledge the driver's explanation. To confirm his innocence, the driver requested permission to inspect the license plate himself, which revealed that the officer's allegations were entirely false. In a revealing moment, the officer admitted to running the license plate before initiating the traffic stop, indicating possible racial profiling.
That's
It is,
Enterprise.
you're the driver.
No, that's not a problem. You call Enterprise.
You're the driver.
This admission exposed the officer's misconduct and further highlighted the unjust treatment faced by the driver. The incident exemplifies the officer's disregard for the truth and raises concerns about potential bias and abuse of power within law enforcement.
See, you tell me the plate is expired. Can I go see?
Hold on. Oh, it's my mistake.
No, that's your mistake.
That is my mistake.
Did you see because it's a black person?
No, stop it now.
No,
Never.
come on. That's
Never.
not
I didn't even see who was driving the car. Look at the plates here.
Moving on to the next incident, a family was peacefully enjoying their time at a park when two police officers approached them without any apparent reason.
Hi. What's up, guys?
The man recording the encounter immediately exercised his rights and requested the officers to identify themselves, which they complied with by providing their names and badge number.
How's it going? Who are you guys? Can you identify yourself, please?
When asked why they approached the family, the officers claimed that the family was yelling and screaming, an allegation that holds no legal significance, especially considering they were in a public park.
Please.
2301.
And you, sir?
Officer Weeks, Eagle Police Department.
Oh.
The family members calmly informed the officers that they were simply conversing and having a good time, emphasizing that their actions were not disrupting anyone else. However, the officers altered their allegations, now accusing the family of using profanity loudly, despite the fact that such behavior is not illegal.
I guess they're just yelling and screaming.
In response, the man recording the incident asserted his right to use profanity whenever he chose to do so. Recognizing that the officers had no valid reason for approaching them,
But we're just here enjoying ourselves right now.
The family members started to dismiss their presence. They indicated that they would pretend as if the officers were not even there.
So, my understanding, there's some cussing going on here.
I cuss,
There's
yeah.
a bunch of kids here,
Yep.
obviously. I don't think that's...
They're playing over in the playground. Yeah, of course I cuss. I cuss anytime I want to cuss. So if you don't like it, like, they don't like to hear what you want to say, then, I mean, you don't have to be here.
Just as it seemed the officers would finally leave the family alone, another police officer arrived on the scene, prolonging their presence. The family members, realizing the officers' persistence and unnecessary drama, firmly requested them to vacate their space and leave them in peace. Although the officers seemed dissatisfied with the lack of disturbance from the family, they eventually departed, realizing their attempts to provoke a reaction had been unsuccessful.
Oh no, I'm talking to my people right now. There's another one coming up right now.
In Florida, a controversial arrest took place, and as the story unfolds, it is unlikely to come as a surprise to many, given the recurring instances of law enforcement officers failing to carry out their duties effectively. The commanding voice of an officer rang out, ordering the car to stop while instructing its occupants to remain within its confines.
What are you doing here? Turn the car off. Turn the car off now. Turn the car off now. Turn the car off. Turn the car off now. Turn the car off.
What you doing? Because I'll punch you in your... Don't ever forget that. I'll punch
Central,
you
send
in
me
your
a second,
shoulder.
unit.
Let me go.
Hey,
Let me explain. Let me tell you something.
explain to you what we're
Don't ever
doing.
Put your hands on me, and
I am responding.
I don't give
Hold
a...
up. I'm responding to an alarm call.
Put your hands on me, and I didn't turn up on you.
Turn around.
Watch yourself. Oh, my mama.
Nobody's under.
The urgent commands continued as the officer persisted in demanding that the car be turned off.
You came in this hostile. Don't you ever put your hands on me. I'll spit on you.
Under arrest. Stop. Sit down.
Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Hey, stop. Hey, stop.
40 Central, I'm stepping up. Get down now. Get down now. Turn around and put your hands behind your back. Get down. Get down.
Repeating the instruction with increasing urgency. In the midst of the chaos, the officer hastily clarified that the situation was not an arrest, urging the woman to turn around while reassuring them that they were not under arrest. However, the events captured in the body camera footage were deeply unsettling and shocking. Despite the officer's reassurances of trying not to cause harm, the tense atmosphere and the officer's actions conveyed a sense of imminent danger. As the situation escalated, the woman in the car expressed their distress, pleading to the officer to stop touching them. She called out to her mother, emphasizing that she could communicate with them but not the officer. Frustration filled their voice as they protested against being held and instructed the officer not to forcefully turn their face. The tension heightened further when 2 additional sheriff's deputies arrived at the scene.
You're wrong, and I'll take your whole time. Oh my soul. This my friend. It's breaking. What the?
It's not breaking.
If I said it hurt, and I will spit on you. Fix my wrist. What the? This is wrong.
What are you doing?
Stop touching me.
Stop pulling
Stop
away.
touching me. My wrist hurts. I'm gonna pull away. What the fuck? Bro, you doing too much, bro. You touch me. I'm gonna take your... Doing too much. Touch me. What's wrong with you? See, you got me. I'll take this whole car on my mama.
The initial officer attempted to explain the situation, but the woman in the car resisted, refusing to comply. The scene became chaotic, with the car door being forcefully slammed and the individuals traveling with the woman who had been subjected to brutality distancing themselves from the officer.
Listen, come on. You want to know what's going on?
They snatched her out of the car, slammed on her face, bro. They still over here right now.
The officer's body camera captured the events, and it became evident that those present wanted no association with the officer involved. The woman stressed that their wrists were inside the vehicle and cautioned the officer against pushing them, asserting that they were capable of handling the situation without any external force.
Okay.
Get in.
If you calm down, we'll help you out, okay?
Don't push me, bro. I'm not gonna tell you.
Put your feet in the car, please.
Can you turn it away? I will listen
I will
to
help
you,
you out.
but she cannot be in my face.
It also captures this woman being placed in a squad car. To reiterate, this woman did not do anything wrong, and we know this via local media. So here comes the next investigation story. During a game in Manchester, a police officer harassed A.J. Dillon, a running back for the Green Bay Packers. The incident, captured on video, gained widespread attention. Dillon had sought permission from security guards to interact with fans during a rain delay. As he prepared to jump back into the stands, the officer grabbed him by the collar and pushed him forward. The Green Bay Police Department acknowledged policy violations by the officer and took appropriate action. The Green Bay Packers appreciated the department's response and reiterated their commitment.
Go, Pack, go!
To public safety at Lambeau Field. Dillon confirmed the misunderstanding and that security had given him permission to engage with the crowd. Dillon explains while enjoying the game from his family's suite. A.J. Dillon witnessed the rain delay and seizing the opportunity for some last-minute fun before training camp, he noticed passionate fans braving the rain and going wild in the stands. Inspired, A.J. suggested to his brother-in-law that they join the enthusiastic crowd.
Rain's coming down and they're going crazy, wilding out down there in the stands. I look at my brother-in-law, I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and get down there. Let's go join the fans. So he ran down.
Making their way down, A.J. encountered two security guards and sought their permission to stay in a specific section to interact with the fans.
Stay in this little section, just show the people some love, and they're like, yeah, so they helped me down.
And these security guards know that you're A.J. Dillon.
Yeah,
okay,
they're like,
like you're in your house.
Yeah, they gave me their hands, helped me down, and I jumped down there, and I'm starting to chant, high-fiving people, and then I'm about to jump on my Lambeau leap, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoop, like I felt like getting pulled back, and I honestly thought it was a fan, like it was down there. I was like, oh, somebody really wants to take a picture.
Yeah.
So, like, what's going on? And this guy's like, get up there, you're getting arrested. I'm like, all right, that was my plan. I was about to jump up.
They recognized him as A.J. Dillon and gladly assisted him in descending to the lower section. A.J. engaged with the fans, leading chants and exchanging high fives. As he was about to jump into the Lambeau leap, he suddenly felt a force pulling him back. Initially assuming it was an eager fan wanting a photo, A.J. soon realized that he was being confronted by an individual who instructed him to return to his seat, indicating he was being arrested. Deciding it was best to comply, A.J. quickly rose to avoid any further complications in the situation. Next is a drunken cop caught on duty.
Hey, Officer Oscar, why don't we come back out here real quick? Come back here, man. It's all good.
Hey, man. So, can you just put your hands on the roof for me? I'm gonna remove your gun, okay? You got any other weapons?
No, but I'm prone to seizure. You're prone to seizures? Okay, I'll turn my lights off real quick for you, all right?
I'm gonna put this in my car for the duration of this.
An on-duty police officer, Oscar, was caught exhibiting signs of impairment while on the job. As the officer was conducting his duties, he was approached by another officer who called out to him, urging him to return to the scene. The other officer assured Officer Oscar that everything was all right and requested for him to place his hands on the roof while the individual removed his gun for safety. Officer Oscar complied and informed the person that he did not possess any other weapons but mentioned having seizures. In an attempt to alleviate the situation, Officer Oscar decided to turn his lights off momentarily. Observers noted that despite his efforts to remain composed and collected, Oscar's behavior clearly indicated impairment.
I guess it went to you guys.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure other people was probably calling you.
Okay.
But,
yeah, we got a call.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. He could be having a medical condition, but he was asleep. We passed by his car. He was asleep.
He was asleep?
When
did you pass by his car?
Right over here at Center and Firewood.
He came and he keeps stumbling.
Do you smell anything?
Upon searching Officer Oscar's car, it became apparent why he'd been pulled over in the first place. Allegedly, this was the manner in which he had been behaving prior to the concerned individual's intervention. Citizens had dialed 911 to report Officer Oscar's erratic behavior on the road. Witnesses described him as driving all over the road, frequently stopping in the middle of the street or off the road and disregarding stop signs. Despite attempting to reach the Apopka Police Department directly, the concerned individuals were informed that it was closed, prompting them to call 911 instead. They expressed certainty that others may have also placed similar calls, and the conversation briefly mentioned a call regarding firewood, although the context and relevance were unclear. Officer Oscar's condition appeared to be deteriorating as he struggled to maintain his balance and coherence. The conversation took a sudden turn to a discussion about the type of beer that was present in a center console when Officer Oscar initially arrived. The details surrounding the statement were unclear. In an attempt to manage the situation, other officers instructed Officer Oscar to sit down and assured him that emergency medical services would be summoned to transport him. Officer Oscar was asked if he had done anything to celebrate the day, to which he responded negatively. However, he proceeded to disclose that he had taken a significant amount of Benadryl. Acknowledging the nature of their profession, Officer Oscar stated it's often better to be honest. The conversation took a turn as Officer Oscar admitted to having an open container of alcohol in his vehicle, emphasizing that mistakes are made by everyone. The individual speaking with him commented on the stressfulness of their job and alluded to Officer Oscar possibly having had a stressful night prior. They expressed a desire for law enforcement officers to treat everyone with fairness and humanity rather than solely favoring their fellow officers. In a desperate plea, Officer Oscar expressed his desire to avoid going to jail. However, the officers continued to engage with him, assuring him that they would figure things out. They instructed Officer Oscar to place his hands together as if in prayer. In an unexpected twist, the officers chose to disregard their colleagues' pleas and proceeded to arrest him despite the initial leniency displayed. It is worth noting that there is no available information to suggest that Officer Oscar caused harm to anyone while he was on duty. It is hoped that his arrest serves as a wake-up call for him and leads to necessary introspection and change.